The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. There's another Stoic quote that I wanted to lead with, and it was, when we are no longer able to change a situation, we are challenged to change ourselves. I started thinking about these two quotes because I was noticing a shift in something within American society. So I'm an artist and I do side hustles to help make ends meet so that I can keep this dream train chugging along the tracks. So like Uber, DoorDash, Instacart, Shipped. In the Midwest we have Shipped. And I was in a grocery store and I noticed that I've been noticing for a while that there are a lot more shoppers. Like there's shoppers all around me, people shopping for other people and delivering their groceries. And yesterday the store was mostly empty of customers, but I noticed there was quite a number of shoppers. And it got me thinking about two things besides these quotes. Is this a good thing or a bad thing? And what I mean by that is, and it could be both, but it's a good thing, I think, because people are taking their life into their own hands. They're deciding, I don't want to do whatever it is that I'm supposed to do in an office or working at retail or service or whatever, or I don't want to do that, or I'm doing that, but in addition to that, I'm doing this. And that's great and interesting because they're making things happen with this new explosion of opportunities that's happening at the moment, especially with COVID. Why it could be a bad thing, I thought, and this was maybe the more interesting thing to me, was, is this an indication that things are so bad in the regular workforce or in the structure of things that people are running away from whatever it is they were doing, or they're not able to make it on just what they're doing? Which is, both of those are terrible things, but like the idea that you could work 40 hours a week or whatever and have to side hustle still, I mean, how long can that go on? You know? And the other one is like, if they just don't want to do that stuff, if they don't want to be bartenders, if they don't want to work in retail, if they don't want to work service or hospitality or even in an office job, like, how is that going to change things? In this, I don't mean that the change could be bad, it could be either, but I guess I was just thinking about, what is this an indication of more? Is this an indication that things are in a terrible state, or that this is a positive response to a bad situation, or a positive response to an already positive situation? I think things are not, I wouldn't describe them as rosy or peachy or anything like that. So it seemed, I mean, but individually it could be. But I'd be interested to know what people think. Is it both? Do you think that the rise of gig economy stuff is that just where we're going, or is it an indication that, I mean, it has to be an indication of something, right? Like, for example, cable companies up until like 2015 or 16 were just basically screwing everyone. Like, they were like, well, you know, if you want to watch something entertaining, you know, you got to give us $150 so you can have 700 channels, and 650 of them won't be worth your time. 30 of them will be okay sometimes, and then 20 you might watch, but really only 5. But you got to pay for all of them to get to the 5 that you want. And people were like, fuck that. Like, and streaming comes along, you know? Same thing with Netflix. You know, people were tired of late fees or whatever at Blockbuster, and so Netflix comes along and destroys everything. Same thing here, right? Inventions, necessity breeds invention, I think. So it was quite an eye-opening experience being in the grocery store yesterday. I could barely finish my work because I kept thinking, like, what? I feel like I'm in such a weird, bizarre world. Like, to think back when I was much younger, not that I'm not young, but just to think back about how the world was then, and then to think about what it's become, especially in the last 2 years. It's really quite shocking, and I don't know that we've had a chance to really take it all in. I don't think we have. Technology was already advancing to the point where we couldn't be expected to comprehend what was happening to us. And I think right now it just keeps accelerating, like almost growing exponentially. And there's almost no way for the human mind to be able to understand what's happening for probably another 50 to 100 years. But here we are trying to understand this, trying to get our YouTube channels off the ground. Subscribe if you can, Pop Culture Fridays. That's what it is, right? When I was younger, I won't say I was younger. Sometimes if people had success in the field I was in, I might go, yeah, I don't know if they deserve that. They're not that special. Now, I'm happy for them. Genuinely happy, because first, why wouldn't I be? That's just something you learn as you get older, I think. But also, the more successful people are at what it is they want to do, it's a better world, right? When people react to the world and have to take jobs at, Long John Silver, Staples, corporate headquarters, city government, that's great if that's what they want to do, or it becomes, as Mike Rowe would say, it becomes their passion. Fantastic. But I think there's a lot of people who have been doing that and they don't want to do that anymore, and they would rather give up some of the financial comfort in order to have something that's more fulfilling. And I know that, Mike Rowe, who I love, Mike Rowe, probably Ben Shapiro, I don't know, Dave Ramsey. It seems like the crowd that would be like, no, you're being irresponsible, you're not, whatever. Well, what is responsible? Like, what is the way you crafted the world, the way the boomers and whoever else crafted the world? Do we just have to go with that? That's the way it is. Like, history never changes. It always stays the same. Whoever writes the biographies, we just have to go with that. They're, in light of new evidence, we can't ever go back and change the way structure works. No, that's crazy. And I think we're seeing that. I think the proof in what I'm saying is look at how many people are not taking all the jobs. Go to the mall with a mask or whatever you want to do. Go to a retail shop or a restaurant or whatever. Look at all the now hiring signs. Okay, they stopped the unemployment a long time ago. People aren't going back. And I think that's an indication of what I'm talking about, that people are trying to redesign their lives. And by their lives, they mean our collective structure. And so my point is, coming back full circle, is that if we support each other in what we want to do, like if you subscribe to this podcast, or go to patreon.com/ArtHouse43 to support further, and then I do the same for you, and I do the same for 5 other people, pretty soon it's like a pool of success and a circle of success that we're all sort of helping each other out and growing together and helping to shape the economy that we actually not just want, but like get excited about, rather than participate in something because we're forced to, or we feel like we have to, or we don't have the courage to do what we want to do, or we don't have the courage to take on those financial realities in a way that's not just going to take care of what we need to take care of, but also give us some sort of fulfillment or pleasure. So it goes all the way around. I don't want to like slam anyone in any job. I'm just saying that I think an economy or a structure that's based on people doing things that give them some sort of pleasure or fulfillment, whatever, it seems like that's a recipe for a longer term success. And I think we're experiencing a huge shift right now, which is probably obvious, but in this particular way, in the gig economy way, I just wanted to mention or ask, is this a good indication, or is it a bad one, or is it both? Thank you for watching Pop Culture Fridays every Friday. I'm Troy. Patreon.com/ArtHouse43. Please like and subscribe, share it. I will see you next weekend. I can see the sun peeking out here in Detroit. I'm going to have to go get my suntan lotion on here in January, because seeing that sun, kind of like in Portland, Oregon, it's a rare treat. You got to get outside to meet that treat.